So when we want to build a new habit or a new behavior, because really a habit you can think about is a string of behaviors that happen successively, then we want to break down these pieces and investigate, how do we build motivation, how do we build ability, and how do we build prompt? So I'm going to talk about that with you right now, and I'll tell you a little hack for listening and really enjoying this the most. If you think about something that you've been trying to get yourself to do, then this will all sound a lot easier to you, okay? So think of that something, and we're going to use BJ Fogg's behavioral model out of Stanford, which is behavior plus ability plus prompt equals, motivation plus ability plus prompt equals behavior. So motivation first. We've got two different kinds of motivation, like we talked about, the motivation to move towards something or the motivation to move away from something. So think again about the thing that you want to do, the behavior you want to do, and just see, do I have this impetus to move towards something or away from something? And you can think about that like, yeah, I want to exercise more or I want to eat less. So I also want you to know that when you're looking at this ingredient in behavior, that motivation is pretty fickle. What do I mean by that? A great example is you're so excited to start your new morning routine. You've got your tennis shoes by the door. You know you're going to go with your new running group and you're all pumped the night before. And then the morning of, you wake up and all of a sudden, poof. Where did your motivation go, right? It's gone. We've all had this happen. So motivation is pretty fickle, and we have some techniques for how to support people in prolonging motivation or encouraging motivation, and that is a part of behavioral science, but it's actually not one of the most important parts, though it is probably the most sexy. The second part that we have to have behavior is ability. And you can think of ability in two ways. You can think about actual ability, and you can think about perceived ability. So think with me first about actual ability. And this has to do with some of those determinants of health that Dr. Gulati was actually referring to. Do you have the actual time to go see the doctor? Do you have the money to go see the doctor? These things are actual ability. And those are obstacles that get in our way to having a behavior happen. Perceived ability is actually equally important because we know perception is actually reality, right? So if you perceive that getting active is going to increase your pain, you have an ability problem. You're missing this ingredient, and that's probably why you're not getting the behavior you want. So there's a bunch of mental interventions and emotional interventions we can do around remapping the way we're thinking about something to change our perceived ability to do that thing.